All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to see if I'm going to use a mic or not, because sometimes I've been kicked out of buildings because my voice is very loud. So we're going to see what today looking like. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Before I start, I'd like to say thank you so much for the committee for inviting me to come out. I appreciate every opportunity I get to be able to use my voice and to be able to encourage people. It's one of the things that I truly, truly love to do. Whenever I do a video or whenever I do a speech, I always say before I speak, my name is Sade, Burrell, stand for something. Whenever I end a speech, I say, my name is Sade, Burrell, stand for something. And when I say stand for something, it means to really, whatever it is that you truly believe in, you stand on it. Like no matter, nobody can waver it. Like no one can put a lollipop in front of you and say, hey, if you go here, like my kids, if I put a lollipop in front of them, they'll say whatever I want them to say. Like they don't stand for something right now. They stand for whatever is in front of them right now. And so when I say stand for something, I want you guys to just think about that for a moment. I want you guys to think about, what do you stand for? What do you truly believe in? Is it something that you're willing to say, hey, no matter what, if it goes against whatever is popular, this is what I truly believe in. So you'll hear me say stand for something throughout my presentation. And also, I have a movement, and it is called Stand for Something. So if you have social media or anything, please don't hesitate to follow me on any of those platforms as well. So we're going to get right into the presentation. Protect the Crown is the name of something that actually came to me when I didn't even know what it truly, truly meant. So my name is Sade, and someone walked up to me and said, Sade, do you know what your name really means? I said, anyone know what Sade the singer? Yep. So usually when people say Sade, I know they never heard of the singer. Like right off the bat, I'm like, okay, you never heard of the singer. But usually when people say Sade, I know we connecting. We both know about the singer. And so they said, were you named after the singer? I said, yeah, I was named after the singer Sade. And so one day, one of my friends, her name is Ugochi. She said to me, Sade, do you know what your name means? I said, Sade the singer. She said, no, Sade the singer is half Nigerian and half British. I said, yeah, I knew that. She said, but your name, what it truly means is honor earns a crown. Fola Sade, F-O-L-A-S-A-D-E, Fola Sade. That's her original name, and my name is Sade, but it's not Fola Sade. And so Nigerians always think I'm Nigerian. I'm like, no, I'm just regular black, like regular. That's it. Right? And I always wonder, why do Nigerians think I'm Nigerian? I thought it was my facial features or my skin color. No. It's because of my name. My name, Fola Sade. Honor earns a crown. Now, mind you, she tells me this after I told her my story. After I told her, hey, I raised my brothers and sisters. I had to make sure that they were at school. I had to try to be a parent to them. I was a parent before I was actually a parent to my actual children. Right? So it was 6 of us. So I had to take care of them. I had to be their mother. I had to be their friend. I had to be everything for them. Because unfortunately, my mother wasn't able to do that. My mother, unfortunately, grew up in circumstances that were just unbelievable. They grew up in the projects in LA. My dad grew up in the projects in LA, in and out of prison his whole entire life. My mother suffered from mental illness and many other different things. And so when I had to be a parent to my siblings, it was many things that I had to do that sometimes it unfortunately, when I was a child, it broke the law. And when it broke the law, I got in trouble. I went to juvenile hall many, many times. In fact, when I interviewed for San Diego Mesa College, they asked me why San Diego Mesa College. Now I had 2 options. I could have gave the politically correct answer, which is, well, I think this is a phenomenal college. And this college here is #1, and I want to be part of it. But I didn't say that. I'm always authentic with everything I do. I said, well, I chose Mesa because when I was a kid, when I was 12 years old, a police officer drove me past Mesa College and said, you can keep going to juvenile hall, which was right down the street, or one day you can come here. And so when he did that for me, that changed my life, and I shared that with them. Now, all thanks and honor belong to the higher power because they hired me. I thought they weren't going to hire me after walking out. I said, ain't no way they're going to fool with me. But they did. And as of yesterday, I just found out that I was tenured, so they can't get rid of me. Very hard. Very hard. Why do I share that? Why do I share that with you all? My name, protect the crown. She said, based on what you told me about your life, you use honor to protect the crown. And so what I had to do was I took that, I said, man, I'm protecting the crown. What exactly is the crown? The first thing we have to do is we need to identify what exactly is the crown. When I was a child, the crown was my siblings. I had to protect them by any means necessary. I was a young Malcolm X before Black History Month and all that other stuff. I was Malcolm X to the core. I was like, no, any means necessary, I'm going to protect my siblings. If it means I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to do it. If it means that I have to take the fault, I'm going to do it. By any means necessary. They were my crown. They were my jewel. They meant everything to me. To this day, my siblings mean the world to me. Now that they're grown, they do some stuff. I'm like, hold on now. No, I ain't going to jail for you now. I did that when we were younger. I can't do it as an adult. But they still are everything to me. They were my crown. They represented what I was willing to give up, what I was willing to stand for. They meant everything to me. And so when I say protect the crown, that's what I'm talking. Now, crown to you may be something else. Because when I went to community college, I went to Cuyamaca College, my crown was my education. I had to make sure that was protected by any means necessary. So that meant me going in the EOPS office sometimes and acting a plump fool. I would go up there and I'd start banging on the thing. Hey, I need a counseling appointment right now. Matter of fact, one of my students did it to me the other day. I said, this is karma. This is karma. I said, just come on in. I got a quick question, Sade. Ain't nothing a quick question. Come on, it's an hour session right here. Come on in. I got time for it. But I understand. I remember how I did the people at EOPS in Cuyamaca, right? A lot of my counselors there's actually some of them are still counselors to this day. And I remember what they did for me. They understood that my education was my crown. I had to protect it by any means necessary. And as life went on, the crown changed. Right? And that's what you have to understand is that sometimes whatever you're protecting, it changes. And right now it might be your children. Right? Then you need to teach them how to protect their crown. Then it's your education. Then it's your career. Right? Then it's so many other different things you're going to have to figure out, okay, this is what I truly stand for and this is what I'm willing to protect. But I'm going to use my honor. I was given a crown because I used honor. I did it for the right reasons. And everything you do, you need to do it for the right reason, not because it's something you feel like doing, you don't feel like doing. You're doing it for the legacy that you're trying to create. See, the beautiful thing about a crown is it's something that we cherish. Like if you see someone, if someone came and walked in with a crown on their head, you either say one or two things. Who do they think they are? Right? You got a crown on your head. Or you say, wow, they think of themselves as royalty. Why do I not? It's two different reactions. And so there's 4 principles I want to teach you guys, right? The first one I'm going to teach you is how to identify your crown. The second one, how to protect it. And then how to teach other people how to also protect their crown. And then the last one is legacy. It's important for you to create a legacy. So I'm going to breeze by it real quickly because I know you guys have your groups and stuff like that you got to go to. But identify. I want you to think, what is the most important thing in your life right now? Right now. If you can think of 3 things, what is so important to you that, hey, I'm not missing this. There are 3 things in my life right now that I'm like, there's no way I'm missing it. It's just certain things I won't compromise for that. I'm like, no. Someone actually said to me, I had a great opportunity. A phenomenal person said to me, hey, Sade, if you come to this meeting, it's going to be a whole bunch of people who can take you to the next level. You got to come to this meeting, Sade. And I'm like, man, really? I said, can you do it on another day? You said it's on Tuesday, but I have this particular thing set up on Tuesday evenings, and it's very important. They said, no, you have to come at this day, at this time. I said, no, I can't make it. Because for me, I was protecting my crown. And my crown for me meant that I was willing to risk giving up an opportunity for me to go to a next level according to them. But what I stood for and what I stand for is way more important. And the journey that I'm on is more important. So if you're willing to compromise, then that's not your crown. If somebody can dangle something shiny in front of you and say, hey, switch team, and you switch team, then that's not your crown. Your crown, it's no negotiating. There's no sitting at no table talking about nothing. My EOPS counselor don't have to sit here and give me a pep talk at all. Matter of fact, I'm giving them the pep talk because you need it more than me. That's how I like to think of it. Let me help you out a little bit. I can see you going through some things. That's how it has to be. Whenever you figure out what exactly is your crown. And I want you to pick those 3 things. And I want you to say, no matter what, I'm not doing it. So I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it at all. So maybe it's school. Maybe you could challenge yourself and you can say, I don't care. I'm not missing class. No matter what, unless it's an emergency with my children, that's the only exception. Unless it's an emergency with my children, I don't care what other thing happens. I'm not missing class. It's not worth it because the crown that I'm trying to protect will allow me to have a bigger crown, to allow me to go to a whole nother level, allow me to create a legacy, allow me to create something that no one in my family has ever created. But what are you willing to do? Are you willing to compromise? These are only questions that you can answer. So that's how you identify it, right? The next step is, how do you protect that thing? You're like, oh man, I've identified it, but how do I protect it? How do I make sure nobody comes in and takes the crown off of me and stomp on it? How do I make sure that doesn't happen? Because guess what? There's going to be a lot of people, a lot of situations, a lot of circumstances that's going to come and it's going to make you have to take off your crown and you decide whether or not you're going to pick it up or not. A lot of different things. Now for me, there are many times where I had to protect my crown. There are many situations I was put in where I had to protect my crown. And right now, my crown are my 2 children. Like right before I got here, I had to drive to my daughter had a performance. And my daughter always long, she said, Mommy, I really want you to come to performance. I said, I got to speak. She said, yeah, So I asked my family, hey, can y'all come to her performance? Nobody replied back. I'm like, now y'all, no, I know y'all didn't reply back. So I sent them a nice message. I said, I just want to say thank you for not replying to the text message. I was being a little petty, right? That's what they call it now. They call it petty. I was being a little bit petty, but I had to realize that's my crown. That ain't their job to protect it. That's my crown. That's my baby. That's not their job. That's not their responsibility at all. You ever see, there's a meme that says something like, don't nobody do nothing for my kids but me. Those are your kids. You take care of them. You take care of those kids by any means necessary. And that's what I did for my daughter. My daughter was my crown. My daughter said to me, Mommy, I want you at that performance. I must have sat in there. I sat right there in that car. I was hot. I was getting ready to sweat out my press. But I was willing to do it for my daughter. For my daughter. I got out of the car. She sees me right there as she's getting on the stage, and her face is lit up. Just lit up. And she was so happy. And even my son, I knew even my son wasn't performing, but my son was so happy. See, my son's getting to an age where they don't like to call me mommy in public, so now it's just mom. Hey, mom. Like, hold on. I'm not mom. I'm mommy. That's my name. Call me mom. But he ran up to me, and he never hugged me in public in front of his friends. He ran up to me and said, Mommy, and gave me a hug. That's when I knew that was the crown that I was protecting. When you think about your crown, I want you to just remember, are they walking up to you? And are they giving you a hug? That's what I want you to visit. Even if your crown is your education. The most beautiful thing that I used to do when my crown was my education is before, I used to always pretend like I was graduating. And so I would go to the commencement page. And I would go all the way up like I'm buying stuff, put it in my cart. All the way up until it's time to pay for something. Okay, this is it. We're not really doing it. But I had to convince myself because that was my crown. I had to remind myself. Sometimes in order to protect yourself, you have to put yourself in situations where you're like, okay, this is what I'm working for. And so when my daughter seen me come up and she gave me, my son gave me the hug, my daughter seen me and she performed and she did her thing. And I guess the news station was supposed to be there. The news station wasn't there, but she didn't care because I was greater than the news station in her eyes. In her eyes, I was great. And then the other parents were just as loud as, that's my baby right there. That's her. You better get it. And she's like, and my daughter's like, okay, Mommy, you're doing too much, Mommy. But I'm like, no, you don't understand. And I got in my car, shot on over here. Immediately, here. Why? That's my crown. I'm protecting it. She expects me to be here. That's my child. That belongs to me. That's 50% of me is right there. So I have to show up for her. So when you think about your crown, what are you willing to do to protect it? What are you doing to really protect what you truly, truly have identified as your crown? Right? Then, once you've identified what your crown is, you've learned how to protect it. I have this this thing in my head because when I was younger, I had so much help. Being a former foster youth, being a parent of 2 children, a single parent of 2 children, like I had so much help. I was very prideful. I don't know if some of you guys get like that. I was very, very prideful. I didn't want to ask for help. I never asked for help. I never forget the day when I was in graduate school and I had no food in my house. I had nothing. And this one particular time, I had come back and we had 1 pack of noodles in the house. And I made that 1 pack of noodles for my kids. And something said, don't eat the noodles. You don't eat. You let them eat. So I let them eat the noodles. They got dressed. They got in the shower, got dressed, and went to bed. My son comes out the bed, and as he's walking into the kitchen, I knew not to eat those noodles. And so my son says, Mommy, I'm hungry. So he had to eat the rest of the noodles that were left. And so for that night for dinner, I drank tap water to keep my stomach from making that noise. I would just keep drinking water. Not even like purified water like these water bottles y'all got. No, it was tap water. Just drink it so that my stomach would hold over into the morning, because in the morning I knew that I went to USC. At USC they were going to have a workshop, and I went to the workshop because they had food. And I knew that at the workshop they would say, Sade, why don't you just take the food just take the food home? And I'm like, no, I can't take the food home, no. Sade, take the food. No, I can't take the food. Sade, okay, I'll take the food home. So I knew that was going to happen, and every time that's what happened. So I knew I could have dinner the next day. I just had to go to that workshop. And so I would go to workshop because I knew it was going to be food there. That's why at every workshop that I host at San Diego Mesa College, I always have what there? Food. Because I don't know if there's another Sade in the room. And so that's why I've written grants so I can provide food. I've digged out my own pocket so I can provide food, because I remember what it was like. That's called a pay it forward mentality. It's important for you to teach other people how to protect it, how to identify their crown, how to protect their crown, because you have to pay it forward. My mentor, she had put me in her car. She had a nice car. We were driving out at this time. Now, y'all see how small I am. Now imagine taking 30 pounds off me. That's how small I was in graduate school. And so my mentor put me in her car, we go to Costco, and we're shopping and stuff. She's throwing stuff in the cart or whatever. And she's like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't really eat that. She's like, what do you think about that? Sometimes I eat that. I don't know. So she's getting all this stuff. She pays for it. It comes up to like $500. Y'all know how Costco's is. You get one item and you're like, oh, wow. So she puts the stuff in the car and she drops me off. I said, okay, I'll see you later. She said, wait, you're forgetting something. I said, what? I said, I leave nothing in the front seat. She said, all this is yours. She went shopping for me, and she to this day, she never knows that was around the time when I was drinking that tap water. I didn't have no tissue at my house. I was taking tissue from school. I was taking more than enough, putting it in my backpack just so that my children would be able to. I used to have gift cards. People ask, how did I get into public speaking? Well, people will offer for me to speak, and they would give me $10 gift cards. I would take those $10 gift cards. That's how I would buy like Pampers and stuff like that for my kids. That's how I really got into public speaking. It wasn't like I said, oh, God gave me a gift, I'm going to use it for good. No, I needed Pampers. And I knew that they would give it to me, paying it forward. Now I try to speak at conferences like this. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I try to give my all and speak at conferences such as this because I remember what it's like. I remember being a student and having children. I remember the struggle. My job is to pay it forward to you, to give you as much advice as I possibly can, to give you everything that someone gave to me. So for me, I believe in paying it forward. So you've already identified, protected. You need to pay it forward. The young lady who goes to SDSU, Marianne, right there. Absolutely phenomenal. I think I remember you. You were in M3. Remember I told you guys about protecting the crown? I started a program called Mothers Motivating Mothers. And this is sidebar. Margie, it was a fee attached to it because I had to pay for like the back stuff behind like the website and stuff like that. Margie paid for her to join my group. And it was M3, Mothers Motivating Mothers, and that's where Protect the Crown came from. We met up every week. Every week we would meet up and I would teach them about starting a business because I believe as a single parent, you all need some type of side hustle, right? Something that, people don't need to know about. You know what I'm saying? That's legal, but it's legal, but nobody don't need to know about it, right? because it's a few extra bills that people don't know about that they're not calculating. And so so she was part of this group called M3, Mothers Motivated Mothers. You just inspire. I might start it back up, but it's an amazing group that we had, and I would actually teach them principles that I'm teaching you guys now. So thanks for Margie for paying it forward. So we've identified, we've protected, we teach. Now, why are we doing all this? The whole purpose of all of this is to create a legacy. Like literally to create a legacy that goes beyond just you. Now, I grew up in a community, when people died, everybody went and got an RIP shirt. I never got one. I never got an RIP shirt. No, I'm not doing that. Because I knew we was going to have a chicken fry outside. Like we're going to have a fish fry, chicken fry, something. Why? Because we didn't have no money to bury this individual. They didn't have life insurance. They understood the lifestyle they were living, but they never had life insurance. So the family had to take care of that. My brother passed away in 2017 from cancer. And when he passed away, I had to pay for his funeral. I had to make sure he was taken care of. Unfortunately, he was young, so I don't really blame him too much. He was only 18 when he was diagnosed. He just got out of foster care. 18, bang, you're diagnosed with cancer. You got maybe 3 years to live. He died at 24. So that I understand. But I used to talk to my brother. I used to say to him, hey, man, if we did X, Y, and Z, we can probably get you some life insurance, and we can do X, this, and this. And so what I realized was that sometimes protecting the crown was just making sure your family's taken care of if something ever happened to you. I made sure that I took out, I ain't going to tell you how much because one of y'all might hit me with a car when I leave here or something. Hit me with a car. But I took out a large policy on myself. Because if something happened to me, my children would mourn. But I don't want them to be poor and mourn. That's a whole nother level of mourning. I mean, think about it like this. The easiest way to think about it. Anybody here ever went through a breakup? Right. Anyone ever went through a breakup and they've been broke too? Yeah. Yeah, me too. I've been through one too and was broke. You got to eat noodles when you broke and you break up, and you ain't got to, when you broke and you break up, you got to eat noodles. But when you got a little cash in your pocket, you think, let me go to Ruth Chris real quick because I'm going to eat this steak. You eat a nice healthy steak, and you forget all your problems when you eat a healthy steak, right? Medium rare, right? Some potatoes on the side, caramel, carrots. You feel better. You like, forget him. He ain't want it anyway. You forget all about it. That's right. You forget all about it. And that's what I want for my children. I want my children to be okay if something ever happened to me, because the crown that I've established here on earth will carry on not only to them, but to their children. There are habits that I've instilled in my children that I guarantee that if something happened to me, they would be more than okay. They would be more than okay. Let me keep going because I can keep preaching if I want to. So I want to show you guys the 5 stages, right, of protecting the crown. This is what you're going to expect on the journey. Everyone's going to go through this. So don't question yourself when you go. The first thing you're going to go through is you're going to go through the fear. The fear of we accept known hells instead of unknown heavens. We'd rather stay in the hell that we're in now instead of saying, hey, it might be a heaven over here. And that's because of fear. Fear is a terrible, terrible thing to have, to operate in. I don't operate in fear at all because I don't know what's on the other side. It can't be worse than what I'm going through right now. It just can't. And so that fear of, hey, man, I don't know. When it was time for me to transfer from Cuyamaca to San Diego State, I was scared. We start self-sabotaging. I have students right now in my program. I already tell them before they come in, I said, you about to self-sabotage, I already know it. You talking about you going to fail your class. You're not failing because you don't understand. You're going to fail because you're trying to self-sabotage because you're scared. And then one of the students said, yeah, I know. I said, so because we know this, let's try to prevent this. You said your crown was your education. How do we prevent you from self-sabotaging? Fear will have you doing that. Fear will have you changing jobs, not applying to job, etc. That's what fear will do to you. The next stage you're going to go through is the guilt. Some of you guys might be in this stage right now, right? I'm not supposed to be here. They'll figure out sooner or later I'm not supposed to be in college. They'll figure out sooner or later that, man, they messed up and let me up in here. Oh, man. When I went to graduate school, I was like, oh, I don't think they know I'm not supposed to be up in here. Let me just sit down and shut up because I don't want to bring no attention to myself. But once I got past that stage, I got past the fear, I got past the guilt, and I realized I'm supposed to be here. And I started talking to myself, and I started saying, you know what, these people lucky I decided to come to this school. They don't understand. Yeah, I'm Sade Burrell. Yeah. And that's what you have to say, whatever your name is, I am such and such. Because at the end of the day, that guilt will kill you just as much as that fear will. And then sometimes the guilt of feeling like you're leaving people behind. I dealt with that too. I remember when I graduated from community college, everybody, oh, Sade got an AA. Everybody thought, shut down the block, Sade got an AA. This is crazy. They like, Sade doing big things. Woo! All right, Sade. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? AA, social work, you know what I'm saying? Young social work up in here. Yeah, that's what I was, but I didn't realize, oh, snap, this ain't going to get me nothing. I got to keep going. Not as a social worker. No. They ain't even going to look at my name on the paper. But it was because of that. So I just said, I ain't going to, everybody already happy now. Like, why go higher? When I went for my bachelor's, when I went for my master's, and I'll tell you guys, I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but when I went for my master's, my family tried to diagnose me with a mental disorder because I went for a master's. They said, I'm dead serious. They was like, yo, I think Sade got like one of them personality disorder. Why would she go for a master's? Like, she don't, wait till they find out I'm going for my EDD. They're going to be like, oh, I know something wrong with her. They're gonna try to lock me up or something. I know something ain't right with her. Talk to my kids. My kids tell all my business, so they might go talk to my kids and listen to them. But it's about that guilt. But I had to release myself of guilt. Right? As you go up, you holding yourself back is not helping anyone. So release yourself of the guilt and go on to the balance. The balance is the next stage you're gonna go to. It's you accepting that I'm a worthy person. That's you talking to yourself saying, ain't nobody gonna do it like I'm gonna do it. And when I do it right. I do it with a spirit of excellence. And that's what you start saying to yourself. I do it with a spirit of excellence. And what I used to say is this. I used to say, I carry myself like a brand, right? You don't see the CEO of Apple running around with an Android. Like you just don't see it. You don't see a CEO of Samsung running around with an iPhone. Why? Because brands mean everything. And when you carry yourself as a brand, you're more careful. You're understanding, right? You say, hey, you know what? Maybe before I speak, I should probably think about what I'm saying. Because I represent, unfortunately, as a black woman, when I make a mistake, they don't say, Sade made a mistake. They say, who made a mistake? Black women made a mistake. And when you as a single parent or as a parent of any child, when you make a mistake, they blame all single parents. They say all single parents can't go to college because they need all this help. All single parents in care program aren't going to be successful, all because one. But when you start putting that weight of the world on your shoulders, sometimes it is good. You start saying, you know what? I'm going to class today. I have to go to class today because I understand I represent a whole entire population. And I'm willing to take that on. It's a responsibility I have to take on, not only for me, but for everyone else who is sitting in this room. But then you'll go through the change stage, right? I deserve to be here, right? I earned my way into this opportunity. No one gave me an opportunity. I earned this opportunity. And then the last stage you'll go through is mastery. You're going to master everything that you touch. Because again, we said we do it with a spirit of what? Excellence. We do it with a spirit of excellence. When people see you walk in a room, they're like, oh, there she go. There he go. Oh, wow, absolutely. Anytime I touch a microphone, I want people to say, you know what, do it yourself. Remember I told you guys about a legacy? Well, I'm an author of 2 books. This is my second book, The Opportunity Guide. It teaches people how to prepare for an opportunity, how to create an opportunity, and how to provide an opportunity. This is actually the first time I publicly showed anyone this particular cover. This is my first book, What Are You Reaching For? And we changed the cover and everything for this particular book. This is the first time we've ever actually showed this book. Because the original cover, I have the same dress on and everything, with different background and everything. But with this particular book, we dropped the book when I was coming out of graduate school. So 5 years ago, we dropped the book. And it had all kind of errors and all kind of errors. You never think I had a degree with that book. But I dropped the book because people always say, why'd you write a book? I said I wrote a book because I was broken. Like, I was hurt inside. I was going through a divorce when I was in graduate school. My kids were ages 1 and 2. I had no income. I had nothing. Right? Nobody told me I qualified for certain programs. I didn't know. I had no clue. So I wrote a book. I was writing 20-page papers. I'm like, all they do after I write this paper is put a grade at the top. Man, let me turn this into a book and get some money. And so that's exactly what I did. I turned it into a book. What are you reaching for? We had a video go viral, has over 1.2 million views on YouTube. What are you reaching for? And that's me just pulling up a laptop and me just speaking from the heart. I found somebody to edit it up. He made it look pretty, and I turned it into a book. Now, the reason why they're up there is because those are my children. My children wrote a book. Like, my kids wrote an actual book, and that is the cover of their book. It is called We Are Grateful. It's written by Amar Nyanda and Mulembo Nyanda. People always say, what's his name? Mulembo. Mulembo Matizulua Nyanda. He is African. My kids are African, and they're very, very proud to be African. It's very, very important for me to put 2 black kids on a book. People who represent who they are. Representation matters. And so the book came because they actually got in trouble. They got in trouble. Well, I think it was Mother's Day, actually. They was being very ungrateful. I was like, are you out of your mind? I work hard to give you the life, and you guys are complaining about. It was something they were complaining about. It was just out of control. And I go on rampage, like I give speeches, and they get tired of hearing me to give speeches. And so I was giving a speech. I said, you know what? You guys just need to go write an essay about what you're grateful for. They went, they wrote an essay, they came back downstairs and said, Mommy, we're so sorry that, we're not grateful, and we will be grateful from now on. So I read the essay that they wrote. I'm like, whoa, it's actually pretty good. I said, look here, everybody in this house need an income. So everybody in this house need an income. So y'all need to write a book. And so I actually let them take the lead on writing the book. I'm actually responsible for financing the book. So like the art, like all the art, the illustrations for it to be edited and everything like that. I did that. I invested in my kids. I invested in my legacy. You're invested in your legacy. You're invested in your crown. You have to invest in your crown. It takes a lot of time. It took a lot of time. I was up many nights having to look at the edits for the book and everything. My daughter made sure the characters looked nice. My son, he's very, very extremely intelligent. He made sure that some of the errors that were in my first book weren't in his book. So all of this come together because my children are so happy. Now, mind you, they come from a school, too, where they were called names because of their race. And so I said, you have 2 choices. I can keep advocating, which I will do, or you can do something to leave your mark there so that they'll never forget who you are. This book right here will go into their school, and they will never forget who my children are. Talk about a legacy. What are you teaching your babies right now? What are you teaching your babies right now that's going to help them create a legacy? Them seeing you walk across the stage is amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. All my kids know is college graduation. So when I said I'm going to go back to school, they said, oh, okay, aren't you supposed to? Like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? But I will say my son, he was a little jealous. My son's very competitive. He said, wait, so you're going for your doctorate degree? I said, yeah. He said, oh, man, I wanted to be the first doctor in the family. I'm like, so should I hold myself back for you? I'm not sure. But a legacy, think about the crown that you're protecting and the crown that you want to set for your kids to protect. What legacy are you really leaving for yourself and for your children? So real quick, you guys have crowns. You guys have crowns on your tables right now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do an activity for like the next, I know you guys, it's going to be real quick, but you guys can finish it later on. I want you to take a crown. I want you to decorate this crown however you want to decorate it. All right, some beads in the middle of the table. And for the next 5 minutes, I know it's real quickly, put as many jewels as you can on your crown. And what I want you to do, I'll tell you what to do after you're done with this. So go ahead and decorate your crown for the next 5 minutes. Okay.